Ladies and gentlemen and children of the planet Earth, 11/25/2011. And today's dissertation is going to be about, you guessed it, my glass is where the paper clip holds everything together, and without that paper clip everything would fall apart. No, just kidding. Sometimes I do that. Today's dissertation is going to be about owls, because there is an owl that represents the streets of Washington, D.C., and that same owl appears on the $1 bill when it's folded in a configuration, including the legs of the owl that you will see on the screen that appear to be a protractor, and I will lay all of this out for you within the next 3 minutes. Thank you for watching my crazy videos, ladies and gentlemen, and here we go. But before we start, this is what my dad says about anybody that believes that the government is telling you the truth.
You're a gentleman in whale shit. Oh, Father.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Anybody believes anything from the United States government at this point is dumber than whale shit. This is the real owl that appears on the $1 bill, and here we go into the configuration of the owl's eyes that appear as Washington, D.C. The eyes that appear of the owl in Washington, D.C. are going to be on your screen in a moment. And these eyes are the eyes of the owl that appear as a representation of streets in Washington, D.C. There's another set of eyes immediately below those eyes and in the center that makes up a perfect owl's face. Inside this radial bearing is a perfect owl's face. When I take it away, you will see a small owl depicted as this little part here as the face, and then you will see a bigger owl's face as depicted right here, right above my fingers, right there. Eye, and an eye, and an eye, and an eye. Those 4 eyes are the 2 owls that we're going to focus in on. And now what you see coming down out of the man's faces on either side, this being one man's face facing the center, this being another man's face facing the center, these faces are the faces of Egyptian gods. And I will prove this one fact to you immediately, and then we are going to move on to the streets of Washington, D.C. I said those were the Egyptian gods, and here is proof, ladies and gentlemen. Notice the fork's beard that comes down out of the Egyptian headdress. This is the boy Tutankhamun. At the top of his forehead is something known as a vulture's headdress. Coming from his beard is known as the fork's beard. Those are the 2 items that prove beyond doubt that the Egyptian gods that protected their philosophy or their theology are in fact represented on the $1 bill as this face here, with the vulture's headdress coming out of the top of his forehead, and the fork's beard being this segment coming down towards the bottom. This is the fork's beard, this is the fork's beard. This is the vulture's headdress at the top. This is the fork's beard. This is the face, and this immediately to the 45 degree up from my finger is an eye. However, that's not the eye of the owl. This is the eye of the owl. Immediately below the Egyptian face, coming out of his forehead, is the eye and another eye. Pay attention to those 2 eyes and watch what happens when I back this up. What you have is the owl represented here. You have the owl represented inside my fingers. You have, and then coming down from the owl, you have what appears to be legs coming down out of the owl's central body portion. Down here is a mouth of a beast that is created by the fork's beard or tusk-like protrusions from the Egyptian. But we're going to go back to this owl, because this is what it's about when it comes to the streets of Washington, D.C. Notice the caricature of the eyes and this owl, and you already saw the fork's beard. Now we're going to go to the streets of Washington, D.C., and we're going to show you that the streets of Washington, D.C. do in fact represent a compass. This is a compass. It could be a protractor if it had a different configuration at the end, but this is a compass, and this is the owl's eyes immediately inside the open aspect of the compass. They are there for a reason, folks. This is the streets of Washington, D.C. Notice the eye here. Notice the eye on the left and on the right. Notice the eye on the left and the right and the left. Notice those two eyes, and then notice the compass, how they appear to be a compass because it is a compass. This is how the streets are laid out. And then notice the owl that I have in my video, aka the real owl of Hoodwinked by an Angel, that is on this screen. This is the eyes of the owl, and the eyes of the owl below the eyes of the owl. Here are two eyes in these perfect circles that when you take a good look and put this on full view of your screen, you have two perfect circles here with diamonds in the middle that form the face of an owl, immediately inside the dead center of this radial berry. However, immediately above those eyes and horns are another set of eyes that appear to be the face of a larger owl, and that owl, when you zoom it back out, also has legs similar to that of a protractor at the base of the structure. Now, this entire thing is, we are supposed to believe that a man with a 12th grade education received a set of drawings in the year 1934, and within a matter of months, this fellow with a 12th grade education decided to create 3,300 pictographs on the reverse of the $1 bill that make all of these wonderful structures. And of course, there are the people that believe that this is a complete coincidence and that these really don't exist. These perfect representations of creatures that I have given you several hundred of thus far and have described in my book, Angels on the Ark by Michael Fazio, which you can review by clicking the link under any of my videos and purchase through PayPal. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. You can have this knowledge for $12.25. Purchased through a perfectly 100% secure site, aka PayPal. This is all the knowledge that is placed inside my book. This is a picture that came from inside my book via this folded $1 bill about the owl. There are several dozen pages in my book, aka Angels on the Ark by Michael Fazio, in the book that depict the owl. So ladies and gentlemen, any of you people that believe that anybody in Washington, D.C. will ever tell you the truth about anything ever again, you're incorrect about that. They have all been bought and paid for. This fella, when he became president, printed between 14 and 16 trillion dollars in cash money, and it within 6 weeks, and it all disappeared. Every $100 bill of $16 trillion disappeared. That has nothing to do with the bailouts. This is 16 trillion between 14 and 6. It just disappeared. It went into the pockets of the politicians. They were bought and paid for to do everything that this man says so that they can usher in the New World Order. And on top of all of that, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you my point of view about the New World Order while we're on this subject. I believe, and you could tell that I believe because I just put my intellect glasses on. I believe that there are too many people on this planet. I believe that there are far too many people on this planet to continue the proliferation of the population as we have come to know it, where there are 7 billion people on the planet now, or 6 billion people. In 10 years, there won't be enough food or clean water on earth for a single bowl of rice per person. So with as far as them wiping us all out, hey, I could be the first to go. It wouldn't matter to me. I lived a full life. But I'm telling you that there is a group of beings or a remnant society. Take it from me. This remnant society that has controlled this world for tens of thousands of years created these pictographs on the $1 bill. They wrote the Bible, and they made a codices between the words in the Living Bible and the pictographs on the $1 bill. They also designed the Great Pyramid. That's why you have a pyramid on the $1 bill and Egyptian faces on the $1 bill. They did all of this before the building of the Great Pyramid. They created all of these concepts, themes, and structures on paper via some kind of supercomputer that is perhaps millions of years old or billions of years old. And ladies and gentlemen, these people have controlled this world to the T for every aspect of this world, as if the entire world was a giant movie script being played out on a time schedule. It's in my book, aka Angels on the Ark. There is proof within my book, Angels on the Ark, that the Bible and the pictographs on the $1 bill line up perfectly, including those owl's eyes that appear. And what they appear for, those owl's eyes appear. Let me tell you what these owl's eyes appear for. The small, round, circular eyes of the owl appear on the reverse of the $1 bill, on the ends of the $1 bill, so that you can find the entrance into King Solomon's temple, folks. And I need to get a bigger camera!